So this is lucky number podcast 18.
It is 18. 18 came surprisingly fast, even though we're doing one podcast a week. I mean, we've been doing this for 18 weeks. That's insane to even think about.
Yeah. And I think there's only 1 week of break in there. So it's 19 weeks total, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Since we've started. Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about Think and Grow Rich. Got my book. It looks backwards on my computer or on my screen, but not in this one. So it's the right way for you, right?
It looked backwards for me, so I'm interested in what it's going to look like when we do the YouTube video.
What's funny
is knit and warg. Sure. Perfect.
Yes.
Got it.
So everybody can see that. But so this book was brought to us by Bob Proctor.
Right.
I mean, he's the one that mentioned it. He's the one that mentioned it, and I heard it. I probably have heard other YouTubers and things speak about it, but I have been historically the type of person that doesn't read a book, even if it's suggested. So That's what's a big change for me. And I guess before we really get started, should you mention what you're doing on the YouTube channel or are you going to mention that at the end?
I mean, I can mention it now as part of a law of attraction exercise, right? We have the YouTube channel, and I guess the point of any YouTube channel, or I guess the goal, is to reach certain milestones. And the first milestone is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of video watched. We are at 10 subscribers now. And on March 3rd, I put a video up on our YouTube channel that talks about how I'm going to use scripting, which is a manifestation method, to go from 10 subscribers to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm going to try and do it from March 3rd to April 1st. So I'm going to be posting regular updates to the YouTube channel, talking about how far we've come, where we're at, and then ultimately celebrating hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark. And from there, we'll try other manifestation techniques to take it even further. So woke up this morning, read the script, took it out of the congratulations envelope, folded it up, put it back in. It's safely located in the desk underneath me. And I'm excited. I'm reading it with intention and with the best feeling, the most positive feeling imaginable. And I know it's going to work out because I want it to, and what I want already exists. So there you go.
Yeah. And I think that the reason why I wanted you to go over that right now is because really some of the quotes that we're going to be talking about today lead into the same kind of thing, because like we've talked about in the past, all of these different ways of manifesting that are out there all tie together. It's just a personal preference, what you feel most comfortable with, what you convince yourself to be most comfortable with.
Would you say Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, is like it's the Bible of self-help, or the seminal piece of work for law of attraction, or the power of positive thought, those types of books? Like, is this the one that everyone points back to or kind of gets their inspiration from?
I think that it probably has the strongest cult following in this group, but I think that probably just the Bible is the strongest of all of them. Out of all the books that are out there, because so many people, if you talk to anyone that is really well versed in the Bible, they start telling you things from the perspective of the law of attraction that are just statements, or, just things that have happened in the Bible. And I think that the big thing for me is going to a Christian school, and I've never read the Bible completely through, but just knowing and being around the Christian faith for quite some time, is I was never able to hear it the way that I hear it when people speak it to me today. Because I know a lot of people that are highly active in their churches. And, when I talk to them about the law of attraction, um, it's like we're talking on the exact same level, except they're talking just from Bible verses. And I'm talking mainly from the stuff that I've studied over the last few years. And so it's kind of neat to see how it converges. I don't like how the Bible is so intertwined with the church systems that are in the United States. So that's something that's kind of it gives a little bit of a bad reputation, because I have been to churches that within the first day of you being there, they're asking for your tax returns.
Really?
Yeah, and
Wow.
so that kind of stuff to me is bothersome, because just anybody coming in through the door is seeking out and seeking something out. I mean, that's why anybody, I think, is going to church, is to find uh, to find out more about themselves. And this information has been so much more productive for me mentally, from clearing my mind. And I don't know. It's a little bit of a programming, though, because the way that I think about churches is that they're going to be looking for money when I come in the door. So
Well,
is it
one
me or is it them? Right?
I don't know. One thing that's interesting though is if you look at the Bible from the law of attraction perspective, like if you listen to Neville or those guys talk about it, it's all about you're powerful, you're more than you think you are, you're the universe, and you're capable of anything you set your mind to. And my experience in churches prior to that is that you're weak, you're evil, and you need saving because you can't do it on your own. And it's a really interesting contrast. And if you haven't, we did a podcast on Neville. If you haven't listened to him, if you haven't read any of his stuff, his spin, and it's not even really spin, he's a theologian, but his everything he talks about on the Bible, and how he explains various stories from the Old Testament, really, really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Did you read all of Think and Grow Rich? Like, did you read it from cover to cover?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've read Think and Grow Rich multiple times, uh, and just flip through. I like to read just a chapter of it. I'm for sure not somebody that can just say turn to page whatever and I've got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that really, and this is what everyone talks about, is just the repetition of the information. Because I know
Hmm.
just preparing a little bit for this podcast today, I already know that I need to read it again, because
Yeah, me too. Me too.
yeah, you can't, uh, you just can't, your brain just doesn't soak it all up on the first
Hmm.
time through or the second time through. And it's a totally different philosophy from what I've known my entire life. And it makes me look at everything differently. And this is something that I was thinking of last night. When you're working for a large corporation, or the government, or whatever it is, if you're working for a large company, you know they're giving the masses one group of information, right? They're having
Hmm.
somebody, a guest speaker, come in, and then the people that are in the top of that company are getting a totally different person. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So why would that be? And it's kind of clear, and it's all about, you know, the people at the top of the company, they know, are aware of, that they're creating their own destiny. So they're playing into it. Whereas the people lower in the company are more focused on, just the achievement of today. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
We've talked about
Uh,
that a lot before. You have a mastermind up top
yeah,
that kind of knows where the ship is being led and what direction they're going, and then you kind of have this unwilling mastermind underneath that's just
right.
given small bits and pieces to get them to set goals or to focus in the direction they want, but not necessarily knowing all the priorities or all the reasons why they're going that way. But it's if you read Think and Grow Rich and you look at those 13 principles and the mastermind being one of them, large corporations definitely operate that way. And prior to that, you wouldn't know why, but after reading this book, you kind of get it. Hey, the more people you have thinking and pulling in one direction and orchestrating something, the greater your success or your chance of being successful.
Yeah.
Because it's like that hive mind mentality makes it all work out.
And then the entity actually becomes its own pendulum, and it goes on its own. It has its own force, because when you're creating a business, it becomes energy, and that energy is what pushes it forward, with
Mm-hmm.
or without you. Now, of course, your energy being in it makes all the difference in the world, because you will see tons of companies that the person that started it poured their heart and soul into it, and it does amazing. Um, and then somebody buys it and it's not their dream.
Yeah.
So it just goes downhill. But a lot of the times, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to come in there, they wanted to pay themselves huge amounts of money, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
care about the company,
Yeah.
you know? And so it's just interesting to have that perspective on things, and just it gives you a little bit of a window into it, and so Think and Grow Rich is written by Napoleon Hill, and just a short summary is he um, was asked to uh, basically interview Andrew Carnegie, which was the richest steel tycoon in the world,
Mm-hmm.
richest man in the world at the time. Um, and he says, Napoleon, I want you to uh, basically become somebody that's better than me. And I want you to learn this information and disperse this information to different people. And so it's a good read, but it's not. It doesn't seem like it's easy. It doesn't flow just super simple to me at all.
Yeah, some parts are tough. Other parts are really easy to get through. I just think you have to keep in mind the century it was written in and the time it was written in. It's for a different society, really. If you think about it being back
Yeah,
in written through the Great Depression and then published in 1937, based on what I have. So some of the stories may not appeal to you. Some of the terms he uses may not be like 21st century conversation starters, but for the most, if you can see through that, you'll find things that are quoted all over the place now, and it'll start to kind of make sense and line up for you. And then there's some real gems of information, ways that you can think, and ways that you should think so that you can strive towards your goals. I really think that just from looking through all the law of attraction information, when you look at these 13 principles, I mean, these are throughout everything that's in law of attraction books that you read now. And it starts with like auto suggestion and then the subconscious mind. This is the first book I've ever read that opened my eyes to the fact that the way I reacted through my 40 years of life was through programming and auto suggestion, and I can change that through the same means. I have the ability to program myself and change the way my subconscious mind reacts and through
Mhm.
that changed my actions in everyday life. And Bob Proctor really kind of pounds it home, but he got it all from this leather-bound Think and Grow Rich book that he shows all the time when he's on stage. So um, it's a great book just to start reading and kind of wrap your mind around.
And he even speaks to, he feels like the book that he's carrying has energy just because of how
Mm-hmm.
much he's poured into it and kept it with him for so long.
Yeah.
And that just that goes back into the book. That's how it is everything is energy. And that's just, anything can anything can become powerful if you desire it to be, and that that it can be. And
Can I chase a rabbit real quick?
go
If
ahead.
you if the unfortunate day that we lose Bob Proctor, if they decided to auction off that book, if Proctor Gallagher's like, let's sell this book, how
Yeah,
much do you think it would go for? The book
I,
that he carried around for 40 years, 50
I don't know.
years, how much would it go for?
I don't know, but we might want to cut this part out of the podcast, and let's just write down that we're going to have the funds to buy it.
I'm writing down, I want Bob Proctor's copy of Think and Grow Rich. I want it. I
Wait,
want
we
to meet
can't.
Bob Proctor and shake his hand, and then I want that book. I want the book.
So wait, are we going to have it at our office, like
Hmm.
behind a glass case? Is that what we're going for? Because I feel
I'm
like
carrying
I
it
want the
around.
book too. No, I want the book now.
Yeah.
That was a good idea.
Let's cut it in half. Get the book, cut it
Just
in half. You carry
just
part of it. I carry
destroyed.
the other. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
So here's in part of the book here, on page 32. This is a little outline of um, kind of the key things to do, to be successful overall. And um, these are just suggestions for an excellent life, for personal excellence.
Okay.
Imagine yourself successful. Always picture yourself successful. Visualize the person you desire to become. Set aside time each day to be alone and undisturbed. Get comfortable and relax. Close your eyes and concentrate on your desires and goals. See yourself in a new environment, capable and self confident.
Okay.
I love that. I mean, it's like everything that we talked about summed up right there. I mean, you've got the meditation built in,
Yep.
you've got the
Visualization is in there.
visualization.
Yep.
Yeah. So really like that. Second point, reflect on your past successes. Every success, be it large or small, is proof that you're capable of achieving more successes. Celebrate each success. You can recall it when you begin to lose faith in yourself.
That sounds to me like spending time being grateful for what you've accomplished,
Yeah, and reflecting on your life. And this is, I was listening to David Goggins, and it's so funny. He even mentions that he's like I'm going to listen to his book because anyway, I'm going to listen to his book,
Mm-hmm.
and he says that he's like, this book isn't the secret. This isn't
Yeah.
some kind of woo woo book or something like that. He makes that statement, and it's so funny because literally everything that he says is the law of attraction.
Okay. It's the
But
secret.
but he says it like they're no way connected. But
Mm-hmm.
he's like mental toughness and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about setting goals, moving towards it, and how he's going outside of his body to complete these extraordinary tasks that he sets with the running and all that kind of stuff. And it all lines up with it. But to him, they don't correlate because he just thinks that it's him that is making him that tough. And it's true. That's true too. But the
Mm-hmm.
point is he's getting help from the universe to achieve his goals, and he's setting those goals and he's moving towards them.
It's kind
So
of like if an animal falls out of the tree and it hits the ground.
Yeah.
Gravity caused it to hit the ground, right? It fell because of gravity. It may not understand that the law of gravity is out there, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's what happened. And there are a lot of people out there that are just amazingly successful and they're confident and they don't need to be told how the law of attraction works. They're just really good at having a desire, setting a goal, and going out and achieving it. And, you know, you can call it what you want, you know, but manifesting you know, reality is manifesting regardless of how you do it.
Yeah. And he was specifically saying he reflects on his past successes to push him through. And so, you know, and I always feel like, is it just because that's what I want to hear? Is that's why I'm hearing it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see that my mind recognizes and has a different interpretation of what everybody's saying. Like I am constantly listening intently to everyone to see what they're going to say and see if it's a reflection of me and if the information that they're giving is what I want to hear. And
Hmm.
a lot of times it is. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
So, third one: set definitive goals. Have a clear direction of where you want to go. Be aware. Be aware when you begin to deviate from these goals and take immediate corrective action.
Hmm.
And for me, um, you know that we've talked about this on another podcast is you're like a boat out on the sea and you're sailing towards something right now. There's
Hmm.
no question about it. And if you say that you don't have any goals, that's fine. You don't have to have a specific goal. What you're made of, what your programming is leading you to somewhere, regardless of if you know what that end goal is.
Yep.
So your boat is sailing and it does have a captain.
It's
Now,
you.
yeah. So in order to change it, the captain has to change the way that he thinks in this
Hmm.
situation. And so I mean, I have always, like I mentioned this on the last podcast, I've always had a goal, always moving towards a goal. But I just didn't know that I didn't have to limit that goal or limit the amount of goals at the same time,
Yeah.
because limiting the goals is saying that there's a limitation.
And we don't operate under limitations. And your
We
boat
can't.
reference makes a lot of sense too, because if you, especially if you think about a really large boat like a cruise ship or something, you uh, Napoleon says make decisions fast and then change course slowly. So if you have this huge ship and you make the decision, hey, we're going to such and such island, as you're moving towards that island, you're going at a speed. To deviate, it takes a lot to change that boat, to change course. And you know, in life, you should be doing things the same way. You know, when we made the decision to do this podcast, we made it, right? And now we're making all these decisions to go along with it, to enhance the content, to enhance how we do things. And the decision to deviate from this podcast path should be taken really seriously, because we're obviously kind of along the path of where we want to go.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great point, because you in this book, I'm going to butcher the story right now. Matt can probably tell it better than me, but the Acres of Diamonds is in here as well. The story about the Acres of Diamonds.
Ooh, you're gonna
Um,
have to start it, and then I'll chime in if I
well,
can. I don't
so
remember it.
so basically, we're just going to make it simple. There's not going to
Yeah.
be any chime in. So basically, this guy has a plot of land and he's digging for diamonds, doesn't find any. He's digging for a year and a half, whatever time period it
Hmm.
was, don't remember. Literally, somebody buys it. Boom, first thing, they hit diamonds like second day.
Right.
So the point of the story is don't change the course of your ship if it's what you really want, because you literally could be standing in your acres of diamonds right
It,
now.
Dig every
And
square inch of that acre
yeah,
up. Hmm.
yes, you
Yeah.
could be, you could be 10 days, you could be 2 years, you could be 1 hour away from your fortune or whatever you want, you know?
Hmm.
So don't give up on it. Don't give up on yourself. Keep pushing no matter what. And it's hard to do that sometimes. And sometimes the circumstances on the outside don't look like there's any way, but just know that everything that does happen is moving you closer, whether it looks to you to be positive or negative.
Or even a setback for sure. And the first principle that Napoleon Hill talks about is desire. And I just want to talk about he in quotations I've written down money consciousness, because he talks about you have to become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that you can see yourself already in possession of it. And that kind of goes back to the visualization again, but you can apply this principle of desire or these 13 principles to anything. It doesn't have to be the accumulation of money. It can be the accumulation of anything that is worthwhile to you, like anything that is worth the endeavor, anything that you want to pursue, you can apply Think and Grow Rich to. You just substitute the word money for whatever the word is that you are trying to achieve,
Right.
and you can go get it.
Yep. And so the fourth and last one on this is respond positively to life. Develop a positive self image, your reactions to life, and your decisions are completely within your control.
Oof, that's powerful. I need to
Powerfully
write that
painful.
everywhere,
Tattoo it.
everywhere where I spend
Just
any time, because
right here.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
look down.
Well, when you talk about maintaining a high vibration, and when you talk about you attract what you think about, I mean, it makes sense that you want to maintain a positive attitude at all times. And I mean, we all know people that are super negative that can't get out of their own way, and they feel like everything that's going to happen to them is going to be bad. And guess what? Everything is bad, and it's really a mindset and a point of view. Now, sometimes bad things happen, but there's an opposite to everything in the universe. So if it's negative, there's also a positive. It just may not be obvious at the moment, and you got to wait for that positive side of the coin to reveal itself. And that's that statement 4 is super powerful.
And I think that just the amount of people that I feel are talking about this stuff today versus over the last few years, I feel like that we're at a point as a collective consciousness
Mm-hmm.
that we're moving towards the awakening of that positiveness.
The Great Awakening, is that what it's referred to?
Yeah, just a total change, a shift in the mindset of the public. I mean, I think we were talking about the other day, it just doesn't make any sense that there's somebody that can buy anything and that there's somebody that can't afford to buy lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it's not, you can't, and this goes back to the programming, you can't just give the person the same amount of money as the person that can buy anything and it all be fixed, because that doesn't
Right.
work.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them realizing that they are a powerful being as well, and that they should feel good about themselves, and that they need to reflect on the positive things that have happened in their life. And then once they understand that, then they can move towards it. And really, the way that our society is set up and the way that we talk about people of misfortune, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
is we focus on give to them, but don't give them an ability to do anything else, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you get like, it's like the person doesn't have a TV or computer. You give them a TV and a computer and they just go hawk it. You know what I mean? Or go sell it
Right.
at the freaking, so that's just an example of how that doesn't work, because their mentality is I'm trying to get this, and they're just stuck in a state.
Mhm.
So how do you get somebody out of that state? And that's something that I want out of this podcast. And that's my ambition behind what we're doing here today is I really hope that us speaking about this touches somebody out
Mhm.
there and makes them feel like, you know what, I am a great person now, and I've just been ignoring it. And that's the ultimate goal of the Unscrewed Mind. I mean, that's our
Yeah.
mission to me. Um, I
Couldn't
mean,
couldn't
it's
have said it
something
any
that's fun.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Hey, do you want to just real quick? I've alluded to the 13 principles a couple times,
yeah, you want to just read
and
them?
let me just go through them real quick. We talked about
Okay.
desire. If you have anything to say on it, you let me know. Second one is faith, right? This is kind of the first section where he touches on affirmations. So, reading things to you over and over again, creating that subconscious relationship to that thought. And then over time, as you become more successful and you feel better about yourself, um, faith increases. Auto suggestion, we talked about specialized knowledge. Um, Sometimes to get your goal, you're going to have to either learn something, or in this day and age, you can just pay someone that has a specialized knowledge, like to help set up a podcast or to create your website. Imagination. I have this in quotations as man's superpower. You know, kind of what separates us from other creatures on this planet is our ability to imagine something and then create what we've imagined and turn it into something physical.
Mm-hmm.
um, Organized planning. Here he lists the qualities of leadership. If you want to read through those, you can. Decision, persistence, right? Make a decision, make it quick. Don't give up on it. Mastermind. This last one kind of touchy. Sex transmutation, the subconscious mind, the brain, and then, of course, the sixth sense. So, out of all of those, and if I need to read them again, I can because it's a lot. Out of all of those, Rusty, which one of those sticks out to you as one that kind of touched you when you read the book the first time, or one that kind of brought something back to the forefront of your memory when you heard it?
I, I think the main thing is for me is it's just the faith,
Mm-hmm.
holding on to faith, and just my mind is so much stronger than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always look on the outside. I've always looked strong
Uh-huh.
to others, but now I am strong on the inside and outside.
Yeah.
But at the same time, completely more compassionate because I, I I don't know. It's just been a shift for me in how I think about other individuals and think about what they're going through or
Mm-hmm.
what they could be going through, and just their reactions to me has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Um, and that's really just the main thing for me is just the faith. What about you? Which one's really hitting with you?
I mean, the one for me that kind of really stuck out has been the auto suggestion and then the subconscious mind.
Oh yeah.
You can walk around thinking that the thoughts in your head, the actions of the past or what's coming in the future is maybe it's out of your control, but you have the ability to make yourself confident, make yourself happy, make yourself excited for what life has to offer. And if you're feeling the opposite of any of those things, you're making yourself feel that way too. And this book just gives you the tools necessary to take control of how you feel and how you act and where you're going, and take some steps, and gives you some kind of the roadmap to achieve anything that you want to achieve. You just have to have the desire and the faith and the persistence to go out there and get it. And you can get it. You can have anything you want.
Yeah, and I've seen people uh, go out of their way to say that this book is false.
Mm-hmm.
That, but everything in the book is basically asking you to think.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so for it to be fake or wrong just doesn't even add up. I mean, I've seen people say that it's a snake oil salesman, and that, but that to me makes absolutely no sense, because the most successful people have iron minds.
Yeah.
They really do. I mean, unwavering. They're not concerned with what you think of them. Um, not wholly, but you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're not concerned if you have a negative thought about them when they're not putting off something negative. They have a reassurance in themselves, and they're acting on it because they're moving towards a goal. So I've tried to, I didn't research it deeper than that because it just didn't make any sense on a high level for this information not to be useful for anybody.
Right.
Asking you to think for yourself, setting goals for yourself, moving towards that goal with a straight arrow, and not letting setbacks set you back or get you off of your goal completely. Um, Not missing the boat because just because something bad happens, like the setback,
Or,
like I was saying.
or because it got hard. And then also
Yeah.
too, becoming a part of a group that wants to achieve what you want to achieve, um,
Yeah.
becoming a part of a mastermind. If you're in a 4-man group or a 4-person group and the other 3 people are millionaires, guess what? You're
Yeah.
probably going to be a millionaire soon.
Right.
That's hang out with the people that are moving in the same direction as you, and you're going to get where you're going. The book obviously has some things that seem a little bit crazy, but there's some words of wisdom in there too. And you can't, if you read the book, you can't miss them. They're obvious.
Yeah, what's the guy's name that says the book's kind of crazy he's got the funny voice. Oh,
I don't know.
dang it. I can't think of
Cliffhanger.
his.
We'll tell you next week, everyone.
Yeah, we'll look it up. But anyway, main thing is even if you just read the summary of the book, or just look up some quotes, some principles from the book, there's a lot of good information in there. If it's not, I'm not saying it's the best book in the world. So nobody get hung up on if you're not resonating with the book, but the information in there is solid. Um, the the quotes that are in there are solid. If you're into the law of attraction, there's no reason not to read it. Yeah.
Awesome. Good podcast. Mention again
Good
that
episode. Good
huh?
episode. Good
Great
episode.
great episode of the
I
Unscrewed
always say
Mind
podcast too.
podcast.
It's not,
I know.
I don't,
I
is it,
know.
it's not.
It could be either one. I will say that again, we're doing these on video same time that we do the audio. So the audio portion will be available in the morning, and then on YouTube in the afternoon that same day, Friday, every week. Rusty, we'll talk to you next time.
I was going to say we are going to be doing a giveaway soon, but we're just working through that. So we'll let you know as soon as we've got the details ironed out on that.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Is this going to stop correctly?